Today we are going to discuss how Nike, a multinational sportswear association, has implemented lean manufacturing into their business. The goal of lean manufacturing is to address waste and neglected resources within a business. These types of waste can be defined as downtime, defects, which cause delays and affect customer satisfaction, overproduction, which requires storage expenses, waiting, this is machine downtime and creates packaging delays, non-utilized talent, not using employees' talent to their full capacity. Transportation, changing task locations such as outsourcing. Inventory, products are waiting to be sold and there is no income. Motion, there is unnecessary movement of employees or machinery. And finally, extra processing, which is incorporating unnecessary steps. To address these forms of waste, companies incorporate different lean manufacturing techniques, such as Kaizen, which focuses on continued improvement. It means to change for the better. The 5S system is a 5-step process that involves organizing, tidying, cleaning, standardizing, and sustaining. Kanban, this uses visual signals for employees to remind them to eliminate inventory and overproduction waste. Heijanka focuses on leveling and paces production rates over time. JIT, or just in time, companies only produce the product when the customer needs it. Single-minute exchange of dies, this reduces equipment changeovers. And finally, Poka-yoke, meaning mistake-proofing, which minimizes or eliminates defects by preventing, correcting, or bringing light to any human errors that are occurring. Companies can incorporate a single technique or multiple with lean manufacturing.
How has Nike implemented lean manufacturing? From a recent research done by MIT Sloan professor Greg Distelhorst suggests lean can help alleviate poor working conditions for factory workers. A study of the supply chain factories in Nike found that the adoption of lean manufacturing was consistent with a 15% reduction in non-compliance with labor standards. These labor standards include wages, benefits, and time off. The transition to lean manufacturing for these so-called contract factories was a big commitment. They had to appoint new managers, send the managers to the Sri Lanka training facility, and some of these factories had to change the layout of the floors to be able to handle lean manufacturing. The lean factories experienced a great turnaround in production. Productivity increased by 10 to 20%, up to 40% faster delivery lead times, and 50% lower defect rates. And then Nike realized in order to grow their business, they needed to be transparent about their factories and have better working environments. So they wanted to look new and be improved for the public. And these last 2 decades, Nike made some changes. They focused on bettering the quality, long-term partnerships with fewer factories, new industry standards for working well-being, and then Nike uses lean to advance sustainability. They did it by modernization, improving on current work, innovation on large-scale changes in processes, people, and products. And then after all this, their new goals to be sustainable by 2020 is source 100% of products from contract factories, have zero waste sent to landfills or incineration without energy recovery, create products that deliver maximum performance while lowering 10% of environmental footprint and increase use of sustainable materials, and they want to reach 100% renewable energy in all facilities by the end of 2025.
How has lean manufacturing impacted Nike's business? Well, they became an industry leader in sustainability. They believe that no business can grow without it, and their goals for this call for sustainable resources like energy, materials, and water. Because of this, Nike made a new manufacturing index, which is just something that they can evaluate their factories and themselves with, which was contract manufacturers. So the contract factories have to hold themselves to a higher standard as well. Lean showed that the problems that led to waste start at the front line of their supply chain. Because of this and seeing this situation, they got less late orders and less sudden change in materials. Also with certain types of shoes, they used recycled materials, such as their Nike Grind. Anything that has Nike Grind is used recycled materials. Therefore, the total impact from this is 76% of their items, apparel, footwear include recycled materials. 99.9% of footwear manufacturing waste is recycled or converted into energy. They also use 23 billion fewer liters of fresh water since 2016, and they have recycled 300 million shoes. Another thing is that they've become an industry leader in corporate social contracts. So in the 1990s, there was a global boycott due to how Nike and their contract factories treated their laborers. New studies, though, suggested that because of lean manufacturing, there was a 15% reduction in noncompliance with labor standards. Also in 2005, Nike published a list of their contract factories. They also published a CSR report giving the working conditions and pay scales of those factories, so they were completely transparent. Because of lean, Nike factories increased wages and reduced overtime, which also caused them to see an increase of productivity by 10 to 20% and 40% faster delivery lead times. Also, Nike focused on long-term partnerships so they can incentivize their contract factories to better their working conditions altogether, which caused 26.5% of contract factories to have increased performance ratings, and which also correlated to 20.9% increase in Nike revenue.